Am I allowed to say something that's kind of controversial?
I just clicked random verses.
All right, what is up, guys? Welcome back to Figuring It Out, I guess. Me and Nate are kind of figuring it out this episode because we are substitute hosts. Don't really know why, but we are substitute hosts. We are. Just quick little intro. If you haven't seen us on before, I am the youth worship leader, so I kind of lead the band and come up with set lists and all that kind of stuff, scheduling, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm the bassist and male singer.
Say your name.
I'm Nate Bryan, the bassist and male singer.
I'm Rhett Chrome.
I thought that was implied.
I'm Max, and I'm the drummer, and I tippity tap.
Max is our guest this week.
Yes.
And we are very excited to have Max
Thank
on
you.
because
Welcome,
Max is kind of a new addition to the band.
Yes.
Since, I don't know, has it been 6 months yet?
I think
It's probably around 6 months. Been playing drums as we've moved our old drummer to lead guitar on occasion, and he has been doing a very good job. And so something that Nate and I were going to talk to you about was just like, have you enjoyed that? And like what has surprised you, or like, I don't know, just tell us a little bit about your time.
It's fun, but I have practiced like Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So Wednesday,
Tuesday,
just
Wednesday,
thrown
Thursday,
in there
Thursday.
now. But I enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. I could come here and I'm like the first person here with Rhett for like 15 minutes, and then everyone else shows up a little bit late.
My bad. That's my bad. Yeah.
Other than that, it's fun playing with y'all.
Good.
I'm really glad, honestly, because I was like, I had been wanting to get Lucas on electric guitar for a while, and at one point we had somebody else that was going to play drums, and then that never really came through. And I was talking to your sister, I was like, Maylee, like, I know Max plays drums, like, would he want to play in the praise band? And she was like, I don't know. And then I was like, Max, come play in the praise band. You're like, okay. But no, it's really been super fun.
Yeah, it has,
and having like always bringing in a new member can be like, I mean, I know like when I came on as a new member, it was kind of a little bit awkward because like everybody else like seemed like they always knew what they were doing, and I don't know how it was for you guys.
I still,
like,
I still just kind of go with the flow.
You've come in real quick, and it's been super easy. So
for sure,
it's been awesome.
Yeah, we're proud of you, Max. We're all proud of you.
So something that I talked to Nate about, talked to him about it earlier today. So it didn't really give him much notice, and then just told you before. Something that I think is like really cool and can be a super personal thing is like, what is like somebody's favorite Bible verse? I feel like that can kind of tell you something about people. I don't know. That's just always been kind of a cool thing for me.
For sure.
And I've like got my go-to, which is Proverbs 27:17, which is as iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. And I really like that one. But I've got another one that I think is just super cool, and it's a real short one. It's John 8:36, and I actually learned it from a Kanye West song. But it's if the sun sets you free, you're free indeed. And that's just like this really cool like sense of
that
just
is a good
like
verse.
It gives me so much security in Christ. I think that's a really cool verse. So
sure.
I know Nate had a few.
Yeah, I really like verses that kind of demonstrate like God's power over our life. Like without God, we're nothing, and it's just a good reminder to have in a verse. So one that I really like is Deuteronomy 31:8. It is, the Lord himself goes before you and will be with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Do not be afraid and do not be discouraged, which is, that's a good reminder no matter what season of life you're in. If something's going on or if it isn't, it's just always a good bring me up verse. And then 2 Corinthians 12:9-10. But he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore I will boast all the more gladly about my weaknesses, so that Christ's power may rest on me. That is why, for Christ's sake, I delight in weakness, in insults, in hardships, in persecutions, in difficulties. For when I am weak, then he is strong. Or for when I am weak, then I am strong, like meaning that God is in you. Which that's
cool.
Those are just those are good pick-me-up verses for sure.
And my favorite verse, I don't know where it's at, but it's Jesus wept, and it's the shortest verse in the Bible. And the reason
a great verse.
It's my favorite was, one, my summer camp used to make us memorize verses, and that was my go-to. Like, that's the first thing. And another one is that it's just so simple, but it has like a big message. Like, Jesus wept. Like, Jesus Christ cried. So I feel like that's like a little message that you can cry, that's fine.
Like it shows like
for sure.
if Jesus could do it, like so can you. Like that's cool.
That's true.
I like that.
That's a good way to think about it.
I've heard that verse
like
for a long time, but I've never really thought about it like that. Like it's always just been to me like, Jesus.
Yeah, you always hear like it's the shortest verse in the Bible, but it has a good meaning behind it for sure. Yeah.
I started, I want to say like 2 or 3 years ago. I just started I found this one verse. I was just reading through Romans, and it's Romans 13:11, I think. And it has to do with, I'm not going to get it exactly right, but it's basically that we are closer to being saved now than we were when we first believed, which I thought was super cool. And so when I found that one, I like saved it, and then I just started writing others down. And I have this like list with a bunch of them, and I love it. Like if I'm ever like feeling like down or something, I'll just go and read through, and I'm like, those are strong. Like I like those
for sure. That's a good practice to have, you know.
And
just in
also
your back pocket.
like associating it with music, which we all like have something in common. I really like the songs that are like directly from verses. Like, you know, The Blessing by Kari Jobe.
Yeah.
That one, like the whole song is just, it's straight from, I don't know.
From the Bible,
that stuff is really cool. And
it's just a really good song too.
It's
an amazing song.
It is a strong song.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's a great song. Like, music is one of the best ways that we can witness to people, especially us, you know, being in the praise band. That's being our calling right now. That's one of the best ways that we can witness to people. And I mean, when you're up on that stage, you can be nervous and embarrassed and stuff, and it can be hard to remember why you're up there. And you're not singing for the people out in the crowd, whether there's 5 or 50. You know, I mean, you're singing to God, and that's always just a good thing to kind of remind yourself before we start, is that we're not singing for ourselves, nor for the people of the church, but we're singing to God and hoping that they will sing for God too. You know, just it's worship, and that can really take a lot off your nerves and stuff. Like when we played for Fields of Faith for the FCA on the field in front of a ton of people. That was one thing that I just kept reminding myself, that like, these people aren't here to watch me; they're here to praise God, and I'm here to praise God too.
And so if I make a mistake, it's no big deal.
And
if I do a really good job, it's no big deal.
Yeah,
like, this is all for
God's
God.
just as proud of me as He would be if I did it perfectly. You know,
that's one thing that I think I come to it like the exact same way as you do, but I always like to, and I've said this before, I like to think of it as like I am putting on a concert for God. I'm doing everything that I can to make this like as perfect as possible, and it's all for God. And so I don't know, I just kind of forget that people are there. And like, I mean, as the leader, sometimes I feel like it's a little bit of my job to pull people into it, but sometimes I just get so into the music that it's like I don't care what, like, and I've talked to Shannon about that before too, and about like, it doesn't matter what other people think that you're doing while you're on stage, as long as it's something that like you truly believe is for Christ. Like he talked about like how he'd gotten down on his knees and just like put his hands up. Yeah, I remember him telling us that's not what hits me usually. Usually for me, it's just like I get super into the music. Yeah, but I don't know. I think what we do is a really cool way to. I mean, we have some innate talents that God has given us, for sure, and I think it would be a waste to not use them for Him. Yeah. That's a good story. I forgot about that. Shannon, like he was playing in front of some congregation, and it was a big congregation, I believe he said. And then he was playing, and he felt so led to just get on his knees, but he didn't want to because he was in front of a ton of people, and he was like, "That's not what the worship leader's supposed to do. You're supposed to be standing up and stuff." And he said he fought with it for like 30 seconds or so. I don't remember. Don't quote me on that. But eventually, he just got on his knees, and then he praised as God wanted him to, and he knew that he had felt led to do that. So, I mean, if God's leading you to do something on that stage, I mean, it's not for the people out there, nor for yourself, nor your band members. You know, you have to lead, go where God is leading you to do. You know, right? For sure. I've always really loved, with you as a drummer, loved watching like guys, because I feel like drums are one of those things where you can just open up and like go all the way with it. And I love watching dudes that are like worship drummers. Like there's the guys that are just kind of sitting back and just keeping rhythm. And then there's those guys that just go like all the way into it. And I'm like, that is so cool. Yeah, even on like, the cajon, you know, you can just like absolutely destroy it. Yeah. The
only thing I'm worried about is like if I'm playing a rhythm or something and then I lose like what my hands are doing, then I'll just play something and it'll be super off. Yeah. And I'll look at y'all if I do something off and I'm like, oh no, did anyone notice? Yeah. Dude, I can't tell you how many times I've played the wrong chord, especially when I get super into it. I'll be like going into the chorus and just absolutely like flub something and like
for sure
that was wrong. But the other thing is like I feel like most people that are just listening and singing with us aren't gonna like pick up on something like that as long as you like get out of it real quick. Yeah. I think that's one of those things, like if that's like how you play, you just stop worrying about it. Yeah. It's like you mess up here and there. I mean, every person does, but like in music it's going to happen at some point.
And as a congregation, I mean, like even when we're not playing, that's what we should be focusing on too. I mean, like if the main singer in Sunday service or something messes up, we shouldn't immediately laugh or like turn to a friend or something. I mean, the point is that we're worshiping God, and that we should, I mean, no matter what, we should honor them for being on stage and doing that anyways, you know? So, I mean, it can be easy to like, want to like notice something about somebody messing up on stage or something like that.
But well, and I think it's also really reflexive, especially for us as musicians, because we can like pick up on that kind of like you'll oh my gosh, you'll hear it when it's wrong.
Yeah,
and it's like, and like immediately it's wrong to you, and you like want to point it out, but that's not like what we're here to do. And I mean, I've definitely.
I guess that's why
we
that's why we practice.
Right,
I guess,
right.
Yeah.
But
in the moment, that's not. I mean, it's not about that. You know,
mm-hmm.
like that one little mistake doesn't mean anything about the worship or anything like that. For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You were here for the scavenger hunt, right?
No, I don't think
Oh, you missed it. Dude, okay. The scavenger hunt.
No.
If you are in youth and you didn't show up for the annual Easter time frame scavenger hunt, let me tell you, you missed out. There was a lot of fun that happened. It was just going around town. Normally, it's picking up Easter eggs, right? I hadn't done it before.
So fun. Yes.
You
haven't
normally,
done it before?
It's normally like Easter eggs are hidden.
So the church staff or the youth staff will go hide Easter eggs around your town. And if you go to a different church, you should suggest to your youth pastor that you should do an Easter time scavenger hunt.
You should do our version, though, that we did this year without the Easter eggs, because that was really fun.
It was a lot easier because it just gives you tasks to do, and you take a picture and you bring it back and prove it, and then you get points. So
and you have to go like various places around town. Like one of them was stand on the Target balls, the balls
like
in front
at
of
the local Target. Yeah, or go to the YMCA, which is right down the road, and make the YMCA.
That one was cool.
That was inventive, Joseph. Good job. Yeah, I'm proud of you. But yeah, that's always a fun thing to get people together. I mean, guys that don't usually come to church on Wednesday or may only just be
we
Sunday
definitely
comers.
Had a few that were like that are guys that like they come to like our church events and stuff, but pretty often because of a sport or just they're not given the time on Wednesday. And they came for this guy. It was always really good to see them.
Yeah, it is. Like yeah, for sure. Because I mean, you carpool and you just create fellowship with your fellow church members, and then it's good, and you have fun. But you also, I mean, it's about God and stuff. Like you remember the true point of it because it's in Easter time as well. So it's a good way to get people back into Wednesday night and stuff like that, even if they don't usually come or something like that.
You missed out. You should do it next year.
I couldn't. I wasn't here. I wasn't in the state.
Oh,
did you have a drumline competition?
Yeah, we had world champions in Dayton, Ohio.
How did that go? Yeah. Okay, tell us about that.
Not so well, actually.
Maybe don't tell us about that.
Someone got sick on the way there, and then other people got sick and were throwing up in the middle of the night.
That's like the whole drumline?
Not the whole drumline, but certain lead people, like our section leader.
Dude, that is that's unfortunate.
And you said Lucas was there too?
Yeah, Lucas. He's
our guy that was our drummer. He moved too.
Yeah, guitar. He's our everything guy, dude.
He's incredibly
really
good at music.
Oh
he's
really good.
But what did you say he was doing?
He was we were sitting down, like we had some free time to do whatever, and I walked in our cabin. I was gonna take a nap, and I saw him like he had his Bible open and his phone open, and he was like doing some research and whatever. And I was like, "What are you doing?" He was like, "I'm just reading the Bible." And I'll see him sometimes, like when we're riding there, he'll be reading the Bible. Like in his free time, we're reading the Bible. I was talking to him about that. He goes, "People should read their Bibles a lot more often."
Yeah,
and I was like.
That's one thing that like I know I'm bad at, and I gave some time. One thing that my dad really liked to do, and that he suggested to me, is the Book of Proverbs has 31 chapters, and we have 7 months with 31 days. So find a month with 31 days and read one chapter a day, and I did that for March, and it was really cool, and it was a really easy way to like it takes 5 minutes at most to read a chapter of a book. Like it's not a like big time commitment or anything, but I definitely felt like on the days when I understood what it was saying, because there were definitely days where I was like, I have no clue what this means.
Right.
Like, but on days when I understood it, it felt like I had a better day, and like it definitely grew my connection with Christ, at least for that day. Like gave me something to kind of reflect on. Dude, I have not broken through to Lucas. Like I've known him for like 3 years.
Yeah.
And I love him. Like he's awesome. But the most like our longest conversation has probably been like 5 minutes, and it's been about music every single time.
Yeah. He's a quiet guy, but he's a force for God. He's how old is he? 15, 16?
He's your grade, right?
Yeah. So
y'all are both 16.
Yeah, and I mean, he plays on Sunday morning every Sunday. He plays drums, and he plays with us whenever he can. Like you said, I mean, I always see him in his Bible or in some book about the scripture or something like that, like some write-off book, something like that. But he is a force for God for sure. Yeah,
that's one thing that I'd like to. I've got a buddy. He's way older than he's a pastor. He goes and he's like a missionary pastor that was the pastor at the church that I grew up in. And we got lunch together like a month and a half ago, and he gave me a devotional that's every day of the year. And man, I have been bad about reading that, and I want to get into it more. And that one is a little bit more of a time thing because it's only got like a few verses and then some reflection, but then you're supposed to like do some research or like write some answers. Yeah. And I really need to get into that. But those things are just like when you do them, you feel so good, and like it's just I love it.
Like you said, scripture can be hard to understand sometimes, like Proverbs, something like that, especially if you're reading like King James version or something older like that. And so like a devotional can be really easy to connect with because it's written to be received by someone in this day, so it can really connect with you and stuff like that. So it can be a good tool for sure.
We just got out of Revelation in my Sunday small group, and dude, talk about confusing scripture.
Yeah,
it was.
Sure.
Oh my gosh!
Speaking of confusing scripture, we've been in our class. We've been talking about like gray areas or like things that can be confusing, or people just kind of like, oh, well, it means this or that, and it was a good topic because, of course, now I'm blanking on what specifically it was, but I mean, there's some areas in Christianity like people believe things that you should do or shouldn't do, like the tattoos thing you were mentioning.
Hey, Revelation 19 says that Jesus was marked on his thigh with King of Kings and Lord of Lords. So Jesus had tattoos.
But were they permanent?
Cool. I don't know. How Jesus is permanent. So boom.
So yes, that's pretty cool.
Man.
But that'd be a cool tattoo idea. To
get
in like
that'd be sick.
That would be cool.
But maybe a little sacrilegious.
It'd be all right. Or maybe he is King of Kings and Lord of Lords. Something like that. But talking about gray areas, it's a good topic, especially to have with people of your age and stuff, because I mean, a lot of guys that are and girls that are, high schoolers like us, it can be easy to fall into temptations of the world that other people your age are doing. I mean, even like other fellow like brothers and sisters in Christ, like things that they think are okay, or like, oh, it's fine, God won't mind. I mean, like it can be easy to fall into that. So just like distinguishing like this is right and this is wrong, and then like finding a good balance in that is good to have with people of your age and people even not of your age. But it's a good thing. It was a good topic to talk about on Sundays for sure.
As confusing as they've been, I've loved the roundtable unit that we're in about like Calvinism and Arminianism and. Oh, wow. I mean, there's a lot of it that it goes right over my head and I don't get it at all. But when I do get it, it's really cool. And it's just crazy how different people can like perceive things differently and interpret things differently. And I don't know. Yeah, that is a confusing topic.
It is a confusing topic, but it's good to talk about stuff like that, because when we think of like spiritual topics, we think, like tier 1 and tier 2 stuff. I don't know what tier election is, but it's talking about like trusting in Jesus as your Lord and Savior.
It's tier, like that's your salvation issue, and then everything else is below that.
Right, and it can be good to talk about that stuff because I mean, there's a ton of different denominations and beliefs, and even different religions that are like spin-offs of Christianity, like like Mormonism, stuff like that. But it can be really good to talk about that stuff because, I mean, you may not understand, like you said, I mean, it doesn't have to do technically with your salvation, so it's not focused on nearly as much as on Sunday or Wednesday even, but in like a small group or in a study session like that where your pastors are talking, it's really good to hear about that stuff.
That's why I love small group, because there's the whole back and forth.
The give and take.
I mean, sermons are great, and don't get me wrong, like you should definitely get both.
Yeah.
But personally, like where I am right now, small group is so cool because, like, I mean, we're always learning more about Christ and trying to become closer to him. But I feel like especially at our age as high schoolers, like this is kind of the make or break time, and a lot of us are really working to try to get closer. And I think like what we go through in small group, where you've got like you're free to ask any questions, and you're really focusing generally on like a certain passage. It's not usually a theme, at least for us. It hasn't been like a theme. Like John's sermons are like themes, and then they'll usually pull from different places.
Yeah.
And we've been going kind of passage by passage, and that's super. That's fun for me and exciting, and in an awesome way to just
like
to
we
break
said,
it down and
yeah,
go through like that.
fellowship is really important for your relationship and keeping you in track. You can keep your other friends in track, and they keep you in track. And like, I mean, people of your age and stuff, you going through the same thing, so it's good to learn about stuff like that and just have like a personal connection to other people in Christ, and it's not just like a connection to your pastor on a Sunday or to the worship band on a Wednesday or anything like that, but to other people like individually, for sure. So speaking of music and like, obviously we only do worship music on Wednesdays and things like that, but do you think that it is important to have a more, like you listen to more Christian music than you do secular music, or do you attempt to try and keep it equal, or do you just not regulate it at all? Or does it just kind of happen naturally?
For me, it's definitely a lot of like what I'm feeling. Like there was definitely a stretch where I was like really listening to one, like Way FM, at least our local Way FM offsets from all the other stations. So when every other station is on commercial, Way FM is not, which is funny. But no, there was a while where I was definitely like really into it, and I still love the stuff that we play. But I would say like I don't do a whole lot of listening to it. Like I don't listen to that much like new Christian music, and I'm not.
Sure.
I will say though, when I like break out my guitar and I'm playing at home, it's probably at least 50% of what I play.
Yeah. Sure.
And I guess there's something to me personally about like I connect with it more when I'm playing and when I just listen to it on the radio, and I'm not like with a congregation. I don't know. It's not. I don't connect with it super closely, but when I play it and I'm the one like saying it, or when I'm with a group of people and it's like we're all worshiping, like
for sure.
I don't know. I think that's one of those things. I know a lot of people that like only listen to Christian music, and they talk about like secular music is bad or at least like it's not what you should be focusing on.
Right.
But at least personally as a musician, it's like I want to get better at what I play. And I feel like a lot of the really good music like to learn from is secular music.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just because it's secular doesn't mean it's bad.
Right,
it's just not Christian. And I listen to a lot of music, and so like let's say if I'm like out doing yard work or something, I'll listen to half the time maybe just a rock playlist or something random, and then I'll switch over and listen to like a Christian playlist. And I mean, I enjoy Christian music a lot, but I have to like I need to continue searching for it, because I have like a very select amount of songs that I like to listen to, like outside of what I mean, like when you listen to Christian songs in headphones versus like on stage, it's different. I don't know, like I like every song they play on stage, but when I listen to my headphones, it can be like,
it doesn't like move you the same.
Yeah,
like, it can definitely be.
Sure.
There's stuff that like I'll listen to that I've like never heard before, and if I'm like really listening closely to the words, I definitely feel like a little more like calm or at peace than I would if I'm just listening to my typical like. I don't know. I've been listening to a lot of John Mayer recently. Yeah. Every time I get in my car, it's my John Mayer playlist.
It's gonna be okay,
baby.
buddy.
For me, most of the time, I just try to listen to the beats. Like I try to listen to the music, and I sort stuff out. Like I lay all the music down in my head, so I don't really listen to the message of the song unless like it's on stage or like that's the point of the song is to hear the message.
Right, for sure.
So I mean,
I think I do a lot of that of breaking it up and figuring out like why do I like this song? Like what parts of it do I like? And then I get to the end, I'm like, what was that about?
Yeah.
and like you said, when it's on stage and you're focusing on the words and worshiping, it's a lot different, I guess. I don't know. It is a very, I hadn't really thought about that until just now. It's a very different feeling.
It's so hard for me to remember the names of songs that I hear on Sunday and Wednesday. I don't know why, but it's just, the names never stick in my head. So I have to write them down in my notes so I can listen to them or look them up later and stuff like that.
I started putting together a list when we had D Now of like the songs I played because I liked a lot of them. And I was like, what song was that?
Yeah.
And I feel like also so many songs have like the same. There's got to be like 4 songs that have come out in the last 10 years called King of Kings that all have like different themes.
And they're all so amazing. They are
probably.
I know a few. Yeah, I don't know all of them, but a few of them.
I don't know. That's one that was.
Yeah, I got you.
In my free time, I just kind of like listen to a random song. I try to pick out each instrument that they play. That's like my little fun game.
Yeah.
I like doing that.
I'll hear a new sound in a song, and it'll be like the only thing I'll hear in that song for like the next 2 months or something.
There's a country song out right now, and I can't.
Is it the new?
It's not very new. It's been out for like a couple years, I want to say. It might be like a Parker McCullough. I can't remember who it's by.
I don't listen to country
but it's got a sound in the background that like it's on the like the 4 every time, like right at the end of the bar, and it sounds like a siren for like for like a beat, and then it goes away. And every time this is not like on one of my playlists, but I listen to country radio pretty often. Every time it comes on, I look around and like reflect. I'm like, is there like a cop?
Yeah.
And then it'll go away. And it usually takes me a few times of hearing it to pick up on like, oh, that's just in this song. Those little sounds like that. There's these guys there's this one guy on TikTok that makes these like, the best sounds in music.
I got you. Yeah,
like, so do you know Renegade by Styx?
Yes.
Yeah. So there's at the start of that song, like right before it goes into the mains, there's like an intro to the song. Before it goes into the main song, there's a yell, and that's like one of them. Or like, I love the sound of like a bass sliding down like that.
Yeah, the drop. Yeah. There's oh gosh, what was that? Oh, so like for some songs, you know how like if you have earbuds in or ear headphones on, like they'll only have the sound in like one ear, and I'll listen to it and I'll only have one ear in, and it doesn't do it, and it throws me off, and then I have to realize that it's only
listen
in
to
that
the Beatles with one earbud. It is insane.
It's incredibly.
I don't know if either of y'all are Beatles
so
fans,
good.
but like the especially like older stuff that was recorded on like a real like tape.
Yeah.
It's got stuff in different sides, and so the Beatles will put like guitar and drums and vocals in one side and like bass and other instruments in the other side. So you'll listen to this side and you'll like hear like a little bit of John Lennon's voice and then just Paul's bass, and it's like
that's kind of cool.
What am I listening to? And then I put the other earbud in and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, some songs it'll be like rotate. Like the sound will go like from this side over to that side.
Do you know Meant to Live by Switchfoot?
No. But I'll go listen to it after this.
I think you definitely know it.
I probably might know it.
When it starts, and I've noticed this in my car, because it's on one of I've got a playlist that's like a lot of 90s, early 2000s stuff. And it's got like the first guitar lick is on the left, and then the next one is on the right, and then it's on the left again. And I'm like, yo.
Yeah. Speaking of, when I go on like long car rides, I have a playlist that's like secular music and worship music combined. So I'll get like a good mix of each, and sometimes it kind of like throws the tempo off. Like it'll be like really like hard like Alice in Chains song, and then it'll be like Lord I need, and like that switch over. It's kind of throws you off, but it's good to have like a mix of that, and I definitely connect with it more when I have it loud and I'm like singing my heart out, and like we do in Sunday or Wednesday, like connecting with the music and being in the congregation and not being on stage, and like singing as much as you can, maybe like raising your hand or going like this or something, closing your eyes and just looking up. It can make you connect with the music so much more. Like when we were at Shaco Springs, being with all those people in that room. Did you go to summer camp?
No.
Okay.
Dude,
well, it's okay.
It was good. Are you going this year?
You going
I
this year?
can't.
Okay, well, I get where you're coming from, because I couldn't. I think this Shaco Springs last summer was my first church camp with Cross Point.
Speaking of
Shaco Springs,
that. But yeah, when we were in a room with all those people and Jimmy McNeil, is that his name? Oh, he was so good. But just all those people worshiping and giving their heart to God, and my voice was gone. I was screaming,
And Jimmy was a particularly good leader, because he pretty often between songs would talk about a message, and it became like there was one, I think it was It Is Well, they played It Is Well With My Soul like one time, and that got us.
If only
like,
they
bad.
did it
That
more
was,
than once.
do you remember
Yes.
That was a very emotional night.
Yes.
Because Nate and I had just recently gone through some like major loss in our life of like family members.
We really connected.
And that was that was awesome though. Like that whole band was really good.
Yeah.
I wrote down a whole bunch of stuff that they
Yeah,
played.
that's what I was thinking about. Like you said, we write down music and stuff. We got a ton of songs from their set list.
Yeah.
And we played those through the summer for like 2 months. It was.
We're still.
It was great.
Promises by Maverick City Music is one that we still play a lot.
I'm kind of regretting not going right now.
It's okay.
Just find time sometime. Maybe not this year. I don't know why I looked at my watch.
Yeah.
But sometime y'all did that like perfectly in sync.
That was awesome.
Connected
I was
for sure.
So as someone like that, like I sing on stage on like once every 2 weeks or so. Maybe it depends on I don't think I have like a great voice, but as someone, I really like to sing. And I'm also a very like physical like worshiper, which you can't really do with a guitar in your hands.
Yeah.
I really like being, I love leading it on stage for sure, but I also like being off and because I get to be that physical worshiper and like I'm big on like the both hands up. And,
Right.
And I get to sing and like so what if I don't sound very like God doesn't care if I don't sound good.
Exactly. God doesn't care.
And you next to me don't care how bad I sound because when it's that loud, everybody sounds bad.
Yeah. You're just screaming.
That is being able to be on both sides of it at some point is just a really awesome. It's cool. It's a cool
good
dichotomy of like sometimes you're leading and sometimes you're following, but
and either way you're worshiping God, you know, like it's no matter if you're on the biggest stage in front of 5,000 people, nor if you're in like a Wednesday night room and you're one of the 5 people in the crowd with 2 people on stage, you know, like no matter what, you're all worshiping the same God and it has the same purpose and same importance and stuff.
I mean, back when we had the cager on the drum kit, I would sometimes sing and then I would drop out because I'm focusing, and I come back in when I hear like a verse that I recognize.
Yeah.
I'll hop in and out. But then I try not to sing too loud because I don't know if the mics will pick it up.
Right.
So I don't want to be like
you
that
had
one guy.
a mic like hanging down, like
I thought that was
when
a
the
singing mic.
Yeah, when the cage was there, wasn't there a mic that kind of hung down? Like it could have picked you up, bro.
That was the
maybe
drum.
you were mixing in real nicely.
I mean, when the cage removed, I thought it was me for singing, and I was like, nah, I can't sing and drum at the same time. So I moved it, but it was for the drum kit. So.
Didn't the drummer for Queen do that? Like, didn't he sing on songs?
Ooh, drummer for is that Roger Taylor?
I don't know. I thought you would know.
I don't know. I mean, Freddie Mercury was there. For the Eagles, Don Henley was drummer and one of the lead singers with Glenn Frey. And for Genesis, Phil Collins was a drummer and would sing. That is a particular that's really cool. Interesting to me. Guys that are able to keep tempo, especially when your drumming is like, I mean, when you're Phil Collins, your drumming is way more than keeping tempo. Like, you are the song, and then you're also singing. That is just like. That's really impressive to me.
Yeah,
especially as like when I started learning to play guitar, which guitar is a super easy instrument to sing with.
Right.
But when I was first learning, like trying to sing while playing something was like impossible.
Yeah.
And I struggle with it with bass because bass is also such a rhythm instrument. Like when I play bass, unless I'm usually in church, I can keep up.
Yeah.
But if I'm playing bass, like on other songs, I'll be playing the bass line and like try to sing, and then it throws me off on my hands. It's like people that can drum and sing at the same time are like,
that's impressive.
I've seen some worship guys that are drumming and then they'll put a hand up and I'm like, how are you? Like they'll stop and they'll like do something with their feet or whatever and they'll put their hands up and I'm like, that has so much concentration because you have to focus on so many different things.
Drummers are impressive, man. I saw a TikTok. It was a dude who's like, you know, like the one time and another time for like 2 different drums. Like he was going like 100 beats and then 99 beats, and it was like slightly off. It was impressive. I mean, it had the counter too, so yeah.
Polyrhythms is the hardest thing to play.
I would love to learn to play drums, and I mean, I can play them to a very minimal extent, but I'd really like to learn a lot more. And I will watch drummers on TikTok and the difference that drums make in a song. Like there was when we were playing one night, me and Nate and some friends were at a buddy's house. And there's a guy there that was learning drums, and then a guy that you know Luke Garrison.
Yeah, of course.
Luke's in drumline, and Luke knows drums, and so we were playing something.
He's in
in
middle school.
The one guy that was trying to learn drums would sit in, and I mean he was good enough. He could definitely play with us. But then Luke would sit down and like absolutely kill it, and it made the whole song sound different.
Now
it really does.
Just think about that. Luke was only in middle school percussion, and now high school. Like I know some guys like. I know a guy who tried out for like adult drum lines when he was a junior, and I was like, I could never, I couldn't.
Who's that guy the Russian dude that came in?
Vanya. Vanya is also
Vanya
is in drumline with you, and he is good. He is he keeps time very well for sure. I don't have a whole lot of experience with him, but when he came in that one day and played cajon,
he just
I was
effortlessly like picked it up. It was crazy. It was nice.
Because like when we're practicing, like our teacher will be like, all right, now just do this.
Yeah.
And then people will be like, all right. And I'm like, I could not. You have to give me like a piece of music. You have to sit me down.
For sure.
I've started trying to learn to play by ear on guitar, which I feel like there's no real good way to learn other than just do it, like practice it.
Yeah.
I was doing that with a lot of church songs because a whole bunch of them have like, it's kind of the same grouping of I mean, obviously when you're in one key, you only have so many notes that you can play, but I mean, it'll be like, the melody for the verse and the chorus is only like 5 or 6 different notes, and it's just about playing them in different spots.
Right.
And dudes that can just effortlessly like pick something out. I'm like, I spent 30 minutes trying to play a song that maybe has like 6 or 7 notes and couldn't figure it. Well, I mean, I could figure it out eventually, but it took so long.
Yeah.
And we were playing the other day, and I was like, Lucas, we're playing this in the key of A, and then I played him like the lick that he needed to play. and it took him like 10 seconds, and I was like, that is
yeah,
that is
he is
wild.
incredibly gifted with music. So, I don't know why I made that transition. Yeah, Lucas, like we said earlier, I mean, like, he's like a quieter guy, but he is incredibly gifted in worship. I'm like, being 15, 16, and being able to play every Sunday. He's been playing for a while.
Yeah, that's
too.
the other thing I was about to say is I think he's been up. I mean, he's been our drummer since.
Oh my goodness.
Around the same time I came in, which was my sophomore year, so that was his 8th grade year.
Yeah.
He's been the youth drummer for
he's
that
amazing.
long, and he's been playing up there for just about as long. And it's
I mean, every time I think about like I have a busy schedule, I just look at like Lucas. Like I play bass drum. It's not that hard. You just have to learn the specific count. He plays tenors. He's got like 6 drums. He's got to go. And I'm like, I couldn't do that. And then he comes like Sunday and Wednesday, and he does this, and then he goes home and he reads the Bible like all the time, and I'm like, this dude has like a set priority list.
Yeah.
Like
man.
Maybe we should all try harder to be like Lucas.
Yeah, we should all be like Lucas. But his whole family is musically talented, right? Like Madison.
Oh yeah. Well, his so Boyd plays trumpet. Madison played bass and guitar, and also
isn't she like in college? Like some professional or something.
She's in some band. And then his dad plays drums on Sundays and maybe guitar. I don't know what else he plays drums, and he played bongos for Easter last year. Because I remember Shannon was like, "Hey man, do you know how to play bongos?" And he was like, "Bongos?" And Shannon was like, "Yeah, we got this one song. It's got bongos in it." And he was like, "Sure, yeah, I'll play bongos."
Easy, yeah. Why not?
Man,
yeah, that's impressive.
I talked to Lucas about his dad, and Lucas was like, "Yeah." I forgot, he said something about him beginning, and I was like, him like starting off, and I was like, as a dad, you have a job and stuff, and as a dad, I wouldn't be able to like wake up on Sunday that early. Yeah. Because I would have work to do every day, and I can wake up for Sunday. Like I couldn't wake up for Sunday yesterday because I got back at like 7 a.m.
I got you. Yeah, for sure. So, speaking of worship, like when you're in, like you said earlier, like you're pretty expressive when you worship and stuff. When you're in the congregation, it's a lot easier to have your hands out or up and be able to move around a lot. And it can be hard to do that in like, not hard, but it can be like harder to make yourself do it in like a smaller congregation where everyone else is just down and maybe not singing at all, or maybe just singing really quiet. And like you see those ladies on Sundays that'll be on their knees outside the pew, and it's impressive. I
think we're so trained by society and also just by like our natural mentality to judge, not necessarily like a harsh judgment, but just like, well, that's something that I wouldn't do. Yeah. That when you are in the other situation of like you feel called to do something, you're so worried about what other people think. Yeah. And I think that's you just gotta push past that, because like who cares what they think?
Yeah, everyone worships differently.
So there's that, and all that matters really is what God thinks. Like if it's genuine, it doesn't matter, man.
Yeah,
like,
it does not.
I mean,
get out there and worship.
When I'm playing for the Wednesday band, every time I get up there, like I'll talk to Lucas. I'll be like, "What's the tempo for that song again?" Because I have to count it off. I'll be like, "Could you please like play that part that I have to play like one more time just to make sure?" And every time I get up there, I get super nervous when I'm about to play, because in my band, like there's so many other people that if you mess up, it's hard for someone to catch it. But like I'm out there, I'm mic'd up sometimes. I don't know if I am or not.
I mean, but you're kind of leading as a drummer. You're leading a whole lot of stuff. So.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So and you start off the songs too and stuff like
count
that.
Off.
No pressure or anything.
That like I'm a nervous wreck when I'm counting off. I'll be like, "Is this right?"
Yeah.
I'll just go with my gut.
Yeah, no, for sure. So when you're on stage, and like you said, you're expressive, but you have the guitar, so it can be easy to throw yourself off by looking at the audience or something, or move around too much. So what is a way that you stay focused on like the goal when you're on stage? Do you have any like specific things for that?
Well, we had talked about like the door. Look at the door and hope that
oh my goodness,
Mr. Eric is not standing in the way.
Miss Linda's husband, Mr. Eric, who's like 7'4".
It's the door. It's the furthest one to the right, right outside the sound. For me, it's the one right outside the sound booth. It's our door. For me, it's the senior door.
Mine is the one that's straight down the aisle to the left a little bit. And there's like a sign above it.
That's your classroom. That's the 11th grade.
No, I think, it is, yeah. It is my classroom. Oops.
And ours, the one that I look at is the 12th grade one.
Mr. Eric is always right there, so I have to, and he's like 9'6", so I always have to look like a little bit above. Yeah.
Man, I'll look back and I'll look at the whole band. Like no matter what I'm playing, I'll look at the band and I'll see like when Lucas is playing, I'll see his foot tap and that's my tempo. Like I'll go off his foot tap. And I'll look at Rhett's hands and he's got the tempo. I'll just go off his hands.
Yeah, that's smart.
I'll just look at like whatever y'all are doing because someone has some way of keeping tempo and I'll just look at
a lot of times if I know the song well enough and I know what note comes, because it's like when you get halfway through the song, you know like the progression it is. Yeah. So a lot of times I'll just close and especially if I'm not playing bass and we're doing an acoustic set and I'm just singing, I'll just close my eyes and sing, and that really helps me to just focus on God. You know, like it disconnects you from what's out there and even like what's around you, and just you focus on and lift your head up and you focus on what's above. You know,
I'll do the look at the door or like Max said, just focus on what you're playing. Like I'll look down at my guitar and just kind of get in. Sometimes it's your guitar. It used to be my guitar, but I don't have an acoustic electric. I'm sorry, my bad.
I forgive you.
But I'll look down at the guitar that is in my hands if that floats your boat. Speaking of, okay, we got to talk about something that floated Joseph's boat.
Oh my god!
But no, I mean, I'll just kind of look down, like just kind of get in kind of a zone and just and that's all. Yeah,
or
just
connect
with the song and God, and disconnect from
everyone else,
everything that's going on. I mean, stay connected with the band, but
like sometimes I'll be playing and then I'll like black out for a second. I'll come back when I hear something that I know I have to do something, and I'll be like, oh, I'm still.
That's time moves at a different speed. When you're playing a song, like there are definitely you stay in the crowd and it's it's like 10-15 minutes for a 3-song set.
Yeah.
And sometimes a 3-song set goes by when you're on stage and it feels like it's been like 2 minutes.
Yeah,
and then sometimes there are songs that feel like they take hours.
Yeah, it's like
especially when it's like a longer song and we play the bridge like 4 times.
Yeah.
You know what? For like hours that one time, me and Lucas couldn't get the tempo right. I do that
at the
thing.
Start.
Yeah, and I looked at him and he looked at me, and
that was kind of
when you like when you mess up, it always feels like it takes a lot longer because y'all got that figured out. I mean, shoot, I couldn't have played that. So.
Like when we do 3 songs before the sermon and then the 2 after, the 3 before feel like 2 seconds, and then like the 2 after feels like 20 minutes. I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm just tired or something or hungry.
Well, usually the 2 after are also slightly slower.
They usually are slower songs.
Okay. So just entirely off topic.
Yeah.
Joseph is back here behind the camera making fun of me for talking about my guitar when
I'm not making fun.
So
just getting
when we were doing the scavenger hunt, one of the things that we had to do that was an option for points was to get team members in a pool.
Oh my gosh, we're gonna bring this up.
Well, so no, I'm not blaming
about
you.
that.
It's not about you. Actually, this is more of a Linda communication.
It's not
error.
About the points. It's
so
about
the mic doesn't reach all the way to Linda, but Linda's back here. We're on
my name out of your mouth.
So anyway,
Say something nice.
It's not about the
it's just
points.
funny. She said something funny. We were talking about like getting in the pool. You know what it is, yeah. So we didn't get. We put like our hands and feet in the pool for the initial picture.
In a pool.
And Joseph was like, no, you gotta. And so, we thought we got credit. And we're driving back, and Linda looks down at her phone, and she's like, uh-oh, and she goes, Joseph poo-pooed in the pool, and Nate and I are like,
I was so confused.
He did what?
And then she,
what do you? Poo-pooed the pool.
No, you said in. You 100%
definitely said in. We told you that.
What she meant to say was like Joseph poo-pooed in the pool, like as in like he was saying it was wrong that we weren't in the pool.
Yeah,
but. Dude, me and Isaac were absolutely. I was like,
for the record, we need to clear this up on air that I did not poop in any pool.
Joseph did not
we have no proof that he did not.
Haven't done that in at least 2 years.
I was like, first of all, which pool? like which pool did he poop in?
Oh my god!
And then second of all. Why is an adult man who is running the scavenger hunt pooping in a pool?
And then we said,
you
what?
You didn't get what you had said.
No, you didn't. And you didn't correct it. And then we were like, what? And you were like, the picture. We were like, there's a picture? We were so confused. And then Joseph's nickname for Isaac is Poopy Hands. So Isaac was like, how the tables have turned.
Joseph, you gotta stop calling him Poopy Hands, man.
Yeah. Maybe you can redeem a new nickname.
No, you guys just need to back me up on that.
The pool poopers on the loose. How many pools have been pooped in?
Yeah, how many pools have you defecated in?
Would you like to explain yourself?
On a scale from
0 pools.
Allegedly.
On a
So
scale-
anyway, I just thought that was funny, and I thought that needed to be shared with you guys.
Wow. that was another great part of the scavenger hunt.
I don't know. Can
That was
you?
good.
Nate, are you saying that there's a limit to how many pools he can poop in from 1 to 10?
Yeah, there's a cap. Sorry.
So
It's exponential.
speaking of pools, speaking of pools, and I guess to an extent,
Make up your mind which one you want to talk
so
about.
speaking of pools, and I guess to an extent, if we're gonna talk about summer camp last year, speaking of poop, we have church summer camp coming up. This is an old one, but it's at Gulf Shores, right?
The Wave.
2017.
The Wave.
We
I don't
actually
know.
went to Panama
Is
City
this
for
in the
that one, but
frame?
it's Gulf Shores.
Is
this
that the
time.
one?
Here,
oh
Nate, just
man,
hold this up.
Samuel Clemens
Yeah, he'll look
No
amazing.
way.
throwback.
Yeah,
And who's playing? Is
that
it-
was the time Samuel and who was it? Matthew Harvey or somebody had to throw
they
down
had the
in their
wrestling.
room.
They had the
That's
wrestling
awesome.
tournament.
Is it? Is it Passion City? This.
Get up, please go.
No,
Oh,
no,
that
no.
was
Oh,
awesome.
yeah, that's who's
Yeah.
leading worship.
Can we do a
Yeah.
wrestling tournament?
I'm
All
down
right.
for wrestling.
Dude,
I have a
I'm
question. What
incredibly down.
when
May 30th through June 3rd.
Correct,
believe.
Amundo.
So yeah,
Wow.
I know dates.
Yes.
I might
so I'll
be
be
going.
leading the messages, but we've got Passion City, a group from Passion City Church coming in leading. They led at
okay,
D Now a couple years ago.
They were good. They were really
very,
good.
very good. So
Is
it's
it the
gonna be-
same? Do you know if it's the same like lineup?
Yeah, it's Jordan.
Oh,
main
the
guy.
dude that goes like this.
That's your thing every time.
I don't know.
It's like Joseph was like, yeah, the lead
anything
singer
about
for
that.
Passion City. When he
Oh, I'm gonna
goes, like when
find
he
it.
hits like a high note or like
He
really gets into it,
moves
he's
his
like,
neck back,
I
and he
see
goes.
that.
But he's so good. It's awesome. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's just like that's
It's
what I
he and
remember
his
about
wife,
him.
and then their whole band. Pretty much the ones that travel with him normally.
who is his?
I follow him.
Was she there when we
No.
they had them at D Now?
They
Okay.
got married after D Now, but she plays regularly with like Christian Stanfield and all those guys.
okay
Who were the guys that came to the Wave?
in 2017.
Yes,
That was Derek Williams and his crew.
Man, he had Yeezys on, and that was where.
Now he's a big shoe guy.
If
yeah.
you had Yeezys in 2017, you
No,
were.
that was hard. I think they were fake though, because he was like, "Yeah, I bought them off DH Gate," and then I bought some, but still, it was cool.
He's a big hat guy and a
was
big
like,
shoe
wow.
guy.
I might
Yeah.
I
have
know some
to.
people like that.
Oh, really?
I'm
Do
gonna
you?
check my schedule
I don't.
because I might be on a mission trip to Mexico. But
Mission
I
trip to
might-
Mexico.
yeah,
Speaking of mission trips, we're also
Tell 'em
going
about it,
to
Nate.
Jamaica,
Jamaica.
which is the
Oh.
week after beach camp, right?
if only I was old enough.
It's later. It's like late-
No,
It's
it's
the
a
end
month.
of
Sorry.
June. Yeah.
I'm thinking
Late
of
June through early
the
July.
dogs.
Yeah,
they're doing.
we come back on July 1st, I believe.
I can't make that one, but you gotta.
Yeah, it'll be. Do we know how many people are going?
There's 10 of us.
10 of us. Okay, and
Nice.
my mom is going now, right?
I think that's right. She made 10.
Yeah. So, yeah. Did is Maddie going or no?
It's supposed to be.
Supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
She
gotcha.
just signed up.
I talked to Josie earlier today. Actually, Josie.
We saw
Murrah.
Josie at the gym. You know
Yeah.
Josie.
Yeah.
Big Josie.
You know, well,
Right?
he's
I
going
mean,
to he's going to
getting
Jamaica.
Big. He's turning into Big
he's
Josie.
He is.
he's
turning
pretty
in-
big.
Big
He is.
Nate back here.
Yeah, huge Nate.
Oh,
Massive Nate.
gigantic. Yeah, I'm just kidding.
Gigantic Nate.
I'm like 5'6". I'm not that. I'm not big.
it's okay.
Like
Nate.
170. Anyways, but yeah, we talked to
This guy telling
Josie,
me
and he
absolute
was
sense.
trying to get his girlfriend to go to Jamaica with us too. I was like, maybe a little bit late for that, but it's a good shot.
You missed the window.
Technically, it's
I
not
thought
too
she
late.
was-
Yeah,
but
I was like,
they've
you
got
need
to
to
get
sign
some
up now.
stuff going pretty quick.
But yeah,
Okay,
he seemed
so-
excited about that and stuff. So
we can
we're
add
excited to go
people
down
up
there.
until like May 25th.
I got you. See,
Somebody text Josie.
I will. I was supposed to go to Haiti 2 years ago. This past year got delayed a few times, but I mean due to problems there, civil unrest and stuff, I haven't been able to go. So this is going to be my first mission trip, which I'm excited about. Excited to go and serve those people.
One that I always I'm a little sad that I'm just not gonna have the time to do it this summer because
I
I've
got
got
you.
so
You're
much
gonna be
other
in North
stuff.
Carolina
Senior
summer.
summer and just already having it's gonna be a packed summer.
I
But
believe you.
one that I had always really wanted to do was Ken Gallion used to do the Africa one.
trip.
Dude, that was one.
They
I don't
still
know
go.
what it was,
You can jump
But
on that
then-
anytime.
but it's not through Crosspoint anymore, is it?
Yeah.
It is. Oh, I haven't.
I mean, we don't
I haven't
advertise
seen-
it so much.
Yeah,
but
because there used to be like
people
every
that wanna
6
go,
months they would
yeah.
go up on the screen.
yeah, he's there right now. I think.
Well, that is
And
one
he's
that
willing to take anybody from Crosspoint.
I was definitely that.
we
I
should
don't know
do that.
what it was about that, but like my sister did mission trips to Haiti. Like that was her. She started in Guatemala and then she started doing ones to Haiti and Campion, and she loved those. Felt super called to that. And my mom always did the ones in Guatemala and something about the Africa one. I mean, I've never done it, so I don't know
Yeah.
if I would get there and still feel how I feel right now. But
Yeah.
that's something that I would definitely love to
I
do
mean,
sometime.
My
for sure.
grandfather's the reason I'm going to the Mexico one, and he's already been to Africa like 17 times, and he's got like
That
a
is awesome.
lion whack stick. don't know what it's called.
Yeah,
hit the lines and stuff. He's got like seven of those, and then he's got like all this cool stuff from Africa. You go to his house, it's all over there, and I'm like, how do you?
That's impressive.
Like you're 71 and you're going to Africa again, and right now he's on a cruise and he hikes. I mean, he does so much stuff for his age.
Is he retired?
Crazy.
What it sounded like is
he has a job.
No, he's retired.
Oh,
but
okay.
He helps people. Like he goes around and he wakes up at like 4 a.m. in the morning to help. Like
that's discipline.
Going the House of Harvest. Me and him used to go down in Harvest. We used to go there like every Saturday morning at like 6 in the morning.
Wow.
Until I couldn't because I had banned stuff, but he kept on going, and I think he still goes, and he goes.
Superman.
He's got food banks, and he
That's really cool.
builds
That's
stuff.
awesome. Yeah.
So at his church, he built like a free book stand and a free food stand where you can pick up soup and stuff if you need it, and we go over there and help him unload like corn and stuff.
Well, that's awesome.
When I'm older and retired, I definitely want to.
Yeah,
I mean, like my grandparents do a
stuff.
lot of stuff. Not necessarily like volunteer stuff, but I don't know, staying involved and like always doing
It's
stuff.
important. My grandmother. Sorry, go ahead.
There was a guy. I haven't seen him in a long, long time, but when we first started coming to Cross Point at the building that it's at now, so like 2015, I want to say, there was a guy there was an older fella that sat like in the front row, and every morning when John, like super old, like 90s or older,
Gotcha.
and every Sunday when John would have us like greet people, he would get up, and there was a younger guy that sat like in front of us, and they would always go up and hug, and it was this like awesome hug, and I was like, dude, that is so cool.
That's
I was
awesome.
like, that is
Fellowship.
part of the reason that we are here.
Yeah.
Like,
Man, I wish we were still able to hug.
That
before
would
this
be
started.
are we gonna
wave.
start doing that again sometime?
Can we?
Shaking
I mean, I
hands?
feel like why not?
Yeah.
I mean, you're right.
I saw it. Speaking
Next time you're on stage, can you just
Germs
say,
and
get
stuff.
up and shake hands with somebody?
We have
kiss the person in the row behind you.
What?
Whoa. I'm going to be sick that week. So.
No, dude, I saw a
Clearance.
lady. This surprised me, and not to come at anybody's like personal health decisions. But there was a lady walking alone through my neighborhood with a mask on, and I was like,
I've seen
Safety.
people wear masks in their car, and I'm like,
yeah, I see that one too.
In your own car.
I mean, I don't. If it's not bothering you, like it's fine. It's just I don't get the
Feel free. I mean, but
sure.
I mean,
it's just, is it not, like, especially summer's coming up?
Dude, is that
It's
not
gonna
like
be-
really
it's gonna be-
hot
yeah,
and
like,
uncomfortable? Like it is a
sweaty.
warm day today, and I was like,
Yeah.
man, when I was in wrestling,
Sure.
when we
Feel
were in the
free.
gym, they have like heat lamps in there, and we like some of us would wear masks. But, we were supposed to wear masks. Some of us take it off because you couldn't like breathe in that thing.
Yeah,
And then they
sure.
eventually got us some gaiters. But I used to wear a mask because we had the big Dayton trip, and if you got sick, stuff would happen.
And then everyone got
so,
sick, and then everyone
like
got
one
sick
person,
anyway.
but it's not that kind of sick. It was like a stomach bug that was going around. But I didn't
Yeah.
want to get the band sick because we had important stuff that we had to do. So I was taking all the precautions.
Yeah.
But now
for
that
sure.
it's over, I can like relax. I don't have to do a bunch of stuff anymore.
Yeah.
I'm just glad that the world is getting back to normal. Like,
Yeah.
whatever normal is now.
Yeah, like-
if there is one.
Like we were talking about, like older people volunteering and stuff. I mean, my grandmother, she wasn't able to, but for years she's been volunteering at the hospital ever since she was retired. She's been retired with infants and stuff, and she's been doing that as long as I can remember. And I mean, she wasn't able to these past 2 years because I mean, one, she was older, and I mean, the hospitals you couldn't go in and stuff if you weren't like an actual worker. But she's been able to go back and do that. So I mean, it's always good to stay involved like that and stuff. And now that we're getting back to normal, it's just it's good to do stuff. Like
My
that.
grandma would always go to there was an elementary school next to her church, and she would go and like read to like third graders and stuff. And I was like, that's super cool. And then COVID hit, and she couldn't do it. I was like, I watched her like go through like she didn't want to hang out with her friends because she didn't want to. I mean, especially with older folks, didn't want to risk anything. But I just I don't know. I'm so glad we are getting past that point. It was a rough,
For sure. It has
unenjoyable
been rough.
time.
Man,
But it was a good time to grow in your faith, you know? Like, you had so much time to yourself. Why not give it to God, you know?
For sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know Madison Academy?
Yeah.
Well, they have like a little MA that's for like the younger kids. We used to go there. My grandfather used to help out with stuff, and like a while back there was only the building, and he started helping out, and now they have like an outdoor pavilion for like the kids, and they would sit down. And he's cleared out so much of the forest and stuff, and he set up like cameras so no one could like sneak in or whatever. I mean, like wherever someone needs him, he's gonna be there and he's gonna
That's
do.
awesome.
That's sick.
That's
dude.
what we should all aim
Because he does
for.
like he works electricity as well, and he builds stuff like all the time. Like he just moved into his house, and I walked in the back, I saw a shed, and I was like, oh my goodness.
That was quick.
Like that was less than like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But it's
Excuse you.
incredible what you can do if
Yeah.
you just like really focus and prioritize.
Yeah.
I think we're kind of getting close to.
Speaking
to
of
an hour,
priorities,
if not
make your
over
faith
an
a
hour.
priority.
Make your
Yeah.
faith
You
a
know,
priority.
like stuff like that, like just
and
being,
it will
being
help
diligent.
you figure it out.
No way.
We're all figuring it out.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, indeed.
Do we have any like announcements or anything, Joseph?
Be here on
Do
Wednesday.
you? Yeah, be here
Sunday.
on
Well,
Wednesday.
yeah, be
Oh,
here
yeah,
on Wednesday.
definitely.
Back
I need
here.
to
Sign
I
up
need
for
to-
beach camp.
I need to make.
Well,
a set
actually,
list.
this releases on Thursday, so by the time you hear it,
Be
you know,
here.
next- be here next
next
Wednesday.
midweek. Yeah, come
Be
on
here.
Sunday.
just
sign up for the
just
wave.
come to church. Actually, every day. Come
Cross Point Church.
Fridays, 10:30 a.m. and pray. 10:30
I mean,
Saturday.
Saturdays. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was. Come to church, man.
Yeah.
Go on
Just show
Wednesdays.
up.
Find
Really,
find
just
a
show up
friend.
whenever. Like it's cool.
But definitely come on Wednesdays. Youth.
I mean,
youth,
I'm here
youth
every
feels
day, all
kind
day.
of
Joseph is always
kind of
here.
thin right now.
Yeah.
yeah.
Find a friend.
Come
go
on
with
Wednesdays.
them.
Yeah.
Like help each other. Like remind them.
No
Be like,
matter
hey,
whether you're one of our
Okay.
South America viewers or anything like that, we just
South
get a ticket.
South
Let's-
Africa.
Sorry, South Africa.
What?
We have. Max
We
doesn't.
have a
Max doesn't hear that day.
disproportionately a large amount
You
of
haven't been
viewers
listening to
in
Figuring It
South
Out, have you?
Africa. Ooh.
I'm sorry. I've been like a little bit busy.
We have apparently. I don't know if we still are.
When our first set of numbers came out, we were in the top.
We were trending. We were top 100.
We were like in the 150th top 150 podcasts in South Africa for whatever reason.
Wow.
So-
That's
job.
awesome.
Thank you, South Africa.
This has
Go.
been.
I mean,
this
I
has
sent it
been-
to one friend who's a pastor in South Africa, and apparently it blew up.
Really?
So.
Wow.
Nice.
That's awesome. But this has been Figuring It Out. I'm Nate.
I'm Rhett.
I'm Max.
And thank you all. And have an amazing week.
Indeed.
Praise
Amen.
God.